how you moved from LA and you moved to Sharanagati and you lived over there. So what was it raising your children like in such an environment? Did they ever feel like they didn't have something that the others have, or what was that whole experience? With the children and with the natural surroundings and not really having much of what the material world has to offer in terms of things and in terms of products and in terms of like what do you think how has that impacted their consciousness?
Well, it was especially my younger daughter that grew up in Sharanagati. The older one was actually in an ashram at that point in time. And Sharanagati is unique because it's a huge community, 1,600 acres, and it's all devotees. So that means that when the children go out to play, they remain within the community and you don't have to worry about them, unlike living in a city or even a suburban area. There's much more concern in that way. But because we're all living in this one community with similar values, it was like one very large family. The school had devotee teachers, devotee students. So in that way it was very supportive for a child growing up in that environment. And nobody had television, so there was no question of the child going to someone's house and saying, they have television, why don't we, So that was also very nourishing for them. And then they did go to the town once a week for sports, physical education, and they would compete with the children in the town. And invariably they were shocked by the way the children behaved, their speech, what they ate. They would come back, they couldn't believe how much they were missing, I could say. And they felt actually more fortunate that they had this beautiful culture that Prabhupada had gifted us with. So in that way it was very, I would say for my younger daughter, she'll never forget the experience of those 10 or 12 years growing up in that environment. That's very strong within her. Even when she comes to a country setting like Gita Nagari or New Vrindavan, she feels very happy to be in that setting as opposed to a city or suburban area. And I think it's valuable. It's very valuable. We lived without electricity from the electrical company. We had to create our own electricity. So that meant we were more conscious of what we were using. You can't just blindly use it, but you have to know how much is there in the batteries. And, it's a question of increased consciousness, which is good. And no problem. But in Mayapur especially, if he went by a locked room and saw the fan going, he didn't appreciate that kind of waste, But you become oblivious when there's apparently so much, and that's a value. So many small lessons and big lessons. They were close to the earth. The children grew up with their own horses, so they had some kind of rapport with the animals. They were close with each other. It was, I feel very grateful that we had that experience and could share it with them.